Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's an All-You-Can-Geek Gamecast. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gast, joined by Mike Sneedy,
What's up?
Corey Feinstein,
Ahoy!
and Tony Coconut.
Hello.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, listeners and viewers. We are live right now on Twitch. Start on Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock. Join us for these live broadcasts. If you can't join us, we're always on YouTube as well. Subscribe, that way you get notified when we post or go live.
Mm-hmm.
All right, folks. Gamecast. I cannot tell you I've officially finished Outlaws because I didn't get much play time, but I did play. I got stuck in the freaking.
So you didn't finish it?
I didn't finish it yet. I'm like in the last part.
I listened to the last episode to Quality Check Us, and you said I will have this finished by next week.
I had to do an HVAC install in my house.
Oh, I'm just saying what you said, Jim. I'm just saying what you said.
I believe I said I will guarantee you I'm finishing this game, and I didn't finish it. What happened was I got stuck on a stupid, frustrating stealth mission that you can't get around. And
a stealth mission took down the Elden Lord?
Yeah, well, because I don't have the patience for a lot of it, the way it works there. It's just not fun. And so most of the end of the game, I've been kind of just shooting my way through it.
You still need to stealth a lot by the end of the game?
The whole freaking I'm still stealthing. Like, this entire last freaking mission has been stealth. Okay. I absolutely hate it.
Like, they don't give you tools or anything to like help it speed it up or like do multi takedowns or anything like that?
On, there's other stealthing abilities to make it. I guess you can knock out droids and stuff. I don't have that ability. I don't have it. I don't need it. It's fine.
Sounds like maybe you do.
Well, no. I mean, I'm an Elden Lord. I can still get around it. So I played it. So I got stuck on that for like a while, and then I actually just before this podcast turned it on at like 7 o'clock. It was like, oh, I'm gonna get a little gaming in, and I got past that part because I'm an Elden Lord, and I realized that shit. Sometimes you forget. You do forget sometimes.
Sometimes you forget.
But no, it's just it's a terrible spot. Like just the layout of it.
Sounds like you're just not enjoying this game.
I'm almost done, and I got some back. Oh, I got backstory. That's what I want to talk about. I finally got story for the character, and yeah, I actually like the development we just had in the story. Like, I have some motivation now. I'm in the end game, but I got it, and I'm like, there we go. That just resonated. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I like what I'm doing here. Okay, it just. I'm glad I stuck with it, but I don't blame people if they didn't. You know what I mean? Like,
no, that's absolutely fair.
Yeah, but I did get something. I do like this character. I like the now I know what I'm doing. Like, I know where the motivation is. You see it. I'm just like, okay, finally. So and the crew. It's a gather your crew game as well. At the end of the day, which is fun, and the crewmates are fun. They're Star Wars characters that are interesting. So yeah, I mean, I hope it makes a sequel. I will have this done shortly. I am finishing it, obviously. Being vague, I'm at the vault. So that's it.
Cool. Yeah, it's funny because I posted in our Discord, not as like news, but like more like a interesting thing. Because like one of the Bethesda's developers said like, Starfield 2, watch out, we're gonna nail it. We're gonna be awesome. And like part of me posted because I'm shitting on Bethesda these days, but the other part was like he is right in the sense that like all these games, like the first iteration is usually like, hey, proof of concept.
This was their Mass Effect. I think even said that.
Right. And then the second game, it's like when you can refine the things that were good, you can make the things better, and you can toss things that didn't work at all, right? Yeah. And plenty of Ubisoft games have done that. Like I said, in previous games, Assassin's Creed and stuff like that. You look Star Wars, Jedi Survivor and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
Mass Effect.
The bones are. They did a great job improving Jedi Survivor. They did a great job. Assassin's Creed 2 is like probably one of the largest jumps ever from a single, the original to the sequel.
Even
I'm hoping to get that.
Cool.
What's that?
Arkham City, big leap.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, like, that was huge. It's just, I like the bones of this game quite a bit.
Yeah, exactly. It's just hard these days because the costs of development are just so high, and we'll get to that a little later on today.
Are we gonna get a sequel to this game? Because it didn't do well.
No, I know. I don't even think it's in the top 20. I meant to post NPD or
I don't blame it, but like it's a good game from this year though. It's one of the it's a solid game. I'll say a solid game from this year. That's it for me though. Tony, what have you been playing?
I beat Echoes of Wisdom. I forget if I had done that by the last podcast or not, but
I think you were frustrated at one part.
No. I was frustrated at one puzzle because they didn't explain how you're supposed to solve it. and you need to hit.
You had to look it up. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to look because like you need to hit 2 switches at the exact same time,
Yeah,
which
that's what it was.
I believe has never happened in the Zelda game before. So I was like, wait, you wanted timing on this? Like, okay, I get it now, but like there's nothing to indicate that was the case. But the last couple dungeons were really spectacular. It feels just in that like vein of Link to the Past / Link Between Worlds. The last boss gauntlet was super cool. It feels sort of like Tears of the Kingdom's finale did, without giving too much away and stuff like that. But it was really cool. Really appreciate the game. Solid like I would give it a solid like 8.5. Like just a little bit more, it would have been like 9 and above.
Again, it's first.
No, exactly. So they went from a remake to an original game. So their next one, which I'm sure they'll do, I expect a lot of things. Yeah. So, cool. Other than that, brother and I we restarted Silent Hill. He wanted to do it from his profile. He wants to do a platinum game or a platinum trophy for it. So we're doing the initial speed run of just like easy, whatever. Like this is just we need to unlock the new game plus activity. So we set it to like lightest difficulty, latest puzzle thing. And it's really funny now because we know all the solutions of the puzzle and stuff, so we're just like blitzing through the game, like because a lot of the games like, oh, what's the code for this numlock or padlock and stuff like that. We're just like boop boop boop, and like you just go through and you just skip like an hour's worth of like puzzle solving, clue finding, and stuff like that. So it's really fun, and I kind of like that about these type of horror survival games where it's like, yeah, if you know this stuff, like you can just beat this game in like half the time at least. So
yeah, yep, Resident Evil style.
Yep.
once you've been it, yep, same idea. So cool. That's it.
Yep.
All right, Mike.
I think I mentioned I finished up the Lake House DLC.
Yep.
Last week, right? I mean, it's on.
Yes, you did. Yeah, I think. Did you mention that you finished it? I think you were playing it at that point. I don't think you finished it.
Yes, it only took me 2 nights to finish it, so it was good. Scarier than the main game, I think, and nice little get a little more insight into Alan Wake and Control, so that's good. But aside from that, now a little game came out on Game Pass, and since it's on Game Pass, I'm like, oh, let's try it. So I'm playing Call of Duty Black Ops 6.
I had a feeling. I kind of had an urge to try it out because I heard the campaign was good.
I heard the campaign was good, so I've been playing that. And it's interesting because while it was loading, I played some multiplayer, and the multiplayer is the same as it's ever been, really. It's okay, but
I think this might be the first Call of Duty game we're talking about in this podcast since Corey bought his PS4 for it.
I played Call of Duty.
Did you?
We played Warzone. We talked about Warzone.
I don't remember you talk. Was that?
Yeah, talking about Warzone, Godzilla collab and stuff like that.
Oh yes, I remember you talking about that part. But I was okay. I guess I forgot about that one. Yeah, it's Call of Duty. Yeah, so I guess that's true.
The campaign is surprisingly good. We have there's a sort of base of operations that's kind of cool that changes as people come and go, and then like halfway through there's an undercover mission. It's more spy-y than military like shooter, which is what I prefer anyway. And then halfway through the game though, suddenly it becomes like MGS5. Like there's an open segment where you're in a car, there's points of interest, there's encampments that you can go stealthy, or you can mark people, you can drop in ordnance. It becomes MGS5 basically, like for a little bit, which obviously that was gameplay wise great. It's not quite as detailed as that, and you're still in first person, but I was surprised at that. So it's pretty solid. I'm enjoying it enough. I'll play through them. We'll see if I want to jump back into the multiplayer. It was funny in the multiplayer because obviously I expect to be. This is my first Call of Duty since Modern Warfare 2, the first time it came out. The first time. So it's been a while, but I did bad the first few games. But I did have an MVP by within 10 games, so maybe there's something there. So we'll see.
I'll check it out. Yeah, I mean, I forgot to mention I did. I installed an Xbox at my house on my TV. Amazon Fire Stick has it officially. The app is officially out.
Oh, it's officially out now.
Yep. So I installed that and I paired the controller and I looked at the store, but I didn't really play anything. So, but whenever those sales are starting for the Ultimate passes, I'll probably grab a few of those. I think there was one on CD Keys last week, but I missed it. But but yeah, I'll try the app out. Let you guys know how it runs. So again, like I'm happy I can play it, but it doesn't help the Xbox sales. You know what I'm saying? Like,
they're not selling the systems. Yeah.
No.
I want to. Or do they? We don't know anymore.
I don't think
Again,
they want to.
I'm happy I can take my controller that I didn't trade in and use it on my TV still. So like it's like there's a system here. All right, Corey, what have you been playing?
I've been playing the packing game. Just been packing
that's
at
right.
my house.
Yes.
No, I do get
So Tetris, in real life Tetris.
Yeah, exactly. A little more metaphor. Been playing that on like lunch stuff because again, Steam Deck is fantastic for that game.
Yeah.
I did talk to my buddy who has been playing it. He said he feels like he's at the end and he's got 60 hours in, and so I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like, cause like, that's nice. It's not like a 100-hour game, so.
No, but that's okay.
So he's doing all the side quests. That's the important thing.
He's definitely grinding, but I don't know. I don't know.
There's no way. This kind of game, I feel like you're gonna have to replay to get the full story.
I mean, if it's like Persona, usually.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's got to be like that. I feel like you got it.
Yeah.
So there's no way they dropped that element out of the game. Cool. All right.
Before we move on, before we get to the news, I do want to just cover the Circana. I forgot to put it on the channel. So this is Circana, formerly the group known as NPD for the U.S. gaming market. In September 2024, we have the numbers. Declined by 6% year over year. Content sales in September dropped by 3% compared to last year, amounting to $3.91 billion. Hardware sales plunged by 44%, falling to $251 million, marking the lowest figure since September of 2019. So, whatever boon we got from the pandemic years and stuff like that, it's over. It is over.
And worse.
Yeah, and worse. The biggest drop was seen in Xbox Series X, minus 54% year over year, followed by PlayStation 5, minus 45% year over year, and Nintendo Switch, minus 23% year over year. Despite the decline, PS5 still leads in both unit sales and revenue. In September, 40% of PS5 sales were for the digital version, accounting for 18% of overall U.S. sales.
Wow.
By the end of the first 9 months, 2024 is nearly on par with 2023 in terms of total revenue, where the start of the year was more active. Best-selling games of the month, number 1, EA Sports Football Club 25. Followed by Astro.
FIFA.
Yep, no more FIFA. The game formerly known as FIFA.
Yes,
Number 2 is Astrobot. Number 1 is Madden NFL 25. Number 4 is Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. That's without digital numbers. Number 5 is EA Sports College Football 25. Number 6 is Star Wars Outlaws. Number 7 is NBA 2K25. Number 8, Hogwarts Legacy. Number 9, NHL 25. And number 10, rising from rank 29 last month to number 10, God of War Ragnarok, thanks to the PC version. Other notables in the top 20, FF16 rose up from 144 to number 12, also due to the PC release. Dead Rising Remake, Elden Ring, still hanging on. And at number 16, Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics, which is completely on the back of digital because it is not out yet physically.
Yeah, I have mine pre-ordered.
Yeah,
so top 5 through them are EA Sports games.
EA Sports games. So, yeah, EA, they're back with a vengeance apparently and stuff like that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, we'll see. They really need Grand Theft Auto 6.
Like what's on the horizon here for this year?
Call of Duty, that's it. Call of Duty is going to top the chart next month. Doesn't even matter.
Game Pass not going to impact it at all.
So we had Christopher Drung. He represents the European market and said that PlayStation sales were flat, I think, year over year for Call of Duty launch week. And Xbox sales did go down, which, of course, we all expected because of Game Pass and stuff like that. So if it drives subscriptions, great. But, that's Microsoft number cruncher's job to deal with.
Yeah.
Hard to tell.
Interesting. All right.
Let's stick with Microsoft. Microsoft CEO pay rises from a whopping just whopping 63% to $73 million, despite this year of insane layoffs from that company.
I think the tweet says how many layoffs, right?
I'm going to it. 2,550 jobs.
Well, gotta pay for that pay raise.
That's just
somewhere.
the Xbox division, right?
Was that just Xbox?
Was
Oh
it-
yeah, that was just Xbox.
Clearly
So,
being
1,900 laid off in January and 650. Oh no, there's layoffs at Microsoft for 1,900, but then 650 definitive just Xbox employees.
Okay.
So
minimum 2,500 total.
yeah, yes, that's what we're looking at. Yeah, this guy still got a nice pay raise. Satya
Yeah. Well,
Nadella. So
I mean, the rest of the company is doing well, so
it was originally their loss. That's the point of it. Like they had their own world. They could do it.
but that's exactly why we're in the not we. Xbox is the division, like the place it's in right now, because you can't
Didn't he
spend
just?
$70 billion and not be profitable anymore.
Yeah, didn't he just say he
Oh yeah.
like exclusive games? I forgot to put it on here. I think.
Yeah,
Didn't
he was telling investors on the investor call, like, oh, we're really focusing on exclusive. And I'm wondering if that was an old point in some kind of, PowerPoint presentation or something like that, and didn't get
Nobody
updated it, where it's like, oh, we're not doing exclusive anymore, boss. Like, it's like, oh shit, like.
That's when Phil just nods in the call, like, I'm gonna talk to him later about
Yeah.
that. Oops.
We gotta release at least one exclusive game next year, guys.
Yeah.
What-
It looks like.
How do you convince your boss to spend all this money on Bethesda and Activision, King Blizzard, ZeniMax, whatever? It's just like what
I don't know.
crazy.
I don't know, but they apparently were
There's
okay.
gotta be
losing
some
money for a
back
while.
room handshake deals.
He's
going
got
on.
to have some some shit on him. He's like, I got pictures of you with some strippers.
It's like
I don't know.
$70 billion there. Was it, how much was the ZeniMax deal? It was like 8 or something.
Yeah, 4 to 8, maybe 10 high end. Minecraft was, I think, 4.
Yeah,
Minecraft was 4.
Minecraft though has been huge.
That's a good.
Well, no, but I mean, that was the one thing where like, we're gonna keep hands off on that because
Yeah.
you didn't need to do anything.
It's already a pretty efficient running machine there. Just keep doing your thing. We'll just make our money back. And yeah. But yeah, 70 billion. You don't make that back. I don't know.
No, and I said that I said at the very beginning, like they will never make that money back.
All right. Let's see. We've got a couple games previews coming out. So Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind releasing December 10th on pretty much every console, including previous gen. So this is the side scroller beat 'em up.
Very similar to the
Very-
Shredder's Revenge.
Yeah, it pixelate. Pixel. What do you call it?
Pixel art.
No,
Yeah.
sprites.
Sprite,
Not
yeah.
really sprites, I'm sure, but it's sprites. It looks sprites. So, but it looks great. It's a Power Rangers game, beat 'em up. You know what I mean? Like it looks great. So it looks cut scenes and everything like that. Looks really good. December 11th. So, perhaps we'll go to Dragon Age. Dragon Age: The Veilguard is getting actually really good reviews. So EA, we just
Really
mentioned
good? Are we saying
number-
really good?
It's getting good.
Good.
reviews.
I would say good.
Okay, I
Actually,
guess it's because I expected
very
down.
good
So.
from some people and pretty bad reviews from others, which is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, was it an 80-ish on Metacritic now?
84, I think.
Yeah, 84. So I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's not, 90s and stuff like that, but I'm thinking this is going to be,
No. I agree. Like expectation wise, it's really good, but overall, it's just good.
Yeah, I mean, when we first saw it revealed and how it was revealed, it was
It's like,
what are they
oh, it's not
doing?
good. Yeah.
This looks
No
like
chance.
a mobile
No chance.
game.
looks like they've revamped the game quite a bit. I know that it's bad. It's bad when like every single article I've seen has said the game's getting good reviews and they needed the win super badly, like really bad, to the point where like it may still not even be a win for them.
No.
That's kind of what the vibe I've gotten. It's got to sell like crazy.
It's got to sell like crazy because again, we're talking about EA, right? And we just talked about, and that's why I wanted to cover it before we got to this. We just talked about how EA, every one of their sports game is topping the charts, and they're going to for months, plus whatever revenue those games make in microtransaction money for the next year until the next version comes out, right?
Yep.
And we talk about how Dead Space remake, which is one of my favorite. I love all the horror remakes we've gotten, which is excellent. And even though that game sold at least 1 million or 2 million units, they're like, you guys at Motive would be better suited off working on Battlefield assets because we really need to make sure Battlefield comes out of the gate swing. And it's like, what? Like,
yeah,
what?
You know,
so
Dead Space isn't generating monthly income, guys.
yeah, exactly. They're not doing $1 billion a year in
Battlefield
microtransactions, so get fucked. And that's the thing. I can it wouldn't surprise me if EA treated Bioware the same. Where it's like, Dragon Age was in development. This particular game, I think, was in development since 2017. It had a very tumultuous dev cycle, right? It went from being some kind of multiplayer live service type of game to single player after like 3 years, whatever and stuff like that. So at some point, I think it was just like they invested way too much to not release something, right, at the end of the day. Yeah. But I can absolutely see if this game does not like meet the highest end of expectations, them just being like, hey, guess what, BioWare? You're a Battlefield studio now. Yep. I can see it. It would not surprise me.
Some expansions. We need to get them out there.
Like, yeah, you can take like 25 people. You can work on something else, but the rest you're on Battlefield.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
It will be interesting to see how this sells because despite the reviews, I see this seems like it's getting caught up in that culture war nonsense. So I'm not sure how it'll do. Honestly.
Nah, I don't think the culture war shit will really impact it. I mean, for anybody that's complaining about it, it's really weird because you could say the exact same thing about Baldur's Gate 3, and that did amazing last year and most of this year. So
yeah, and that's what they need this to do, like Baldur's Gate like numbers.
Yeah.
That's the sad part.
I think thanks to Baldur's Gate, there's a crowd now. There really is somebody. They're looking for another game to get into.
There's an audience for it.
There's an audience for it.
It is funny because one of the leads of Baldur's Gate 3 actually just gave this game pretty rave review off of Twitter. And he was encouraging people to try it, which is good because, again, like he even was saying, like, we need more games like this, even if it's not perfect. But, because I'm sure he knows EA more than
fans of
right.
the genre, and then like when you put out your next game, it's like, oh, here's another one like this.
Exactly, because it's one of those, a rising tide, raises all ships kind of thing, where it's like, hopefully, a lot of people that got into the genre through Baldur's Gate 3 can be like, oh, let me try that Dragon Age game.
I'm curious about one of the other like legitimate criticisms is sort of the art direction of the characters and a general lack of darkness, I guess, with dialogue.
Like lighter tone.
The art direction is the thing that kind of put me off a bit. I mean, just to set the expectation, I was never interested in this game. Like BioWare, for me personally, I'm done with BioWare. But when I saw the game, I was just like, this looks weird. Like, and I think Corey, you touch upon it. It kind of looks like one of those like mobile type games where it's like, like it looks too sanitized, like where it's like clean and colorful, but like pseudo like Pixar-ish almost, right? Where it's like you got some slight you got some slight cartoony aspects and stuff like that, where it's like, oh, these are friendly and approachable. It's not very divisive or anything like that. So whatever.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see. We go over to Sony now for some bad news.
Breaking today.
It was today. That's right. Sony is shutting down Firewalk Studios. That's obviously the maker of the recent debacle called Concord. We talked about in the podcast when Concord got
shuttered,
pulled off the shelves and refunded money, that this was not a good sign for the studio. I think this is it was only a matter of until we heard it. You know what I mean? Like that was all. It was everybody's just waiting for the announcement, and I'm sure even the employees there were. I can't imagine how many left already. Probably finding jobs as fast as they can, just knowing. You know what I mean? Like
what though is that they continue to give like back-end updates to the game while it was not even available. So some people thought they were try to.
I mean, there was discussions about that. I saw in the release they talked about. Do you want me to read that whole release, or what do you guys think?
Yeah, I posted it for a reason.
Yeah, okay, calm down. Okay.
I'm just saying, like, I put it there for a reason.
Yeah, I just don't know where to put it, but here we go. Here's the whole release. We'll do the Firewalk one. So regarding Firewalk, as announced in earlier September, an important update on Concord. Certain aspects of Concord were exceptional, but others did not land with enough players, and as a result, we took the game offline. We spent considerable time these past few months exploring all our options. After much thought, we determined the best path forward is to permanently sunset the game and close the studio. I want to thank all of Firewalk for their craftsmanship, great spirit, and dedication. The PvP first-person shooter genre is a competitive space that's continuously evolving, and unfortunately, we did not hit our targets with this title. We will take the lessons learned from Concord and continue to advance our live service capabilities to deliver future growth in this area. So, going right back into that service.
Yeah, no, and the reason I wanted you to read that, because I mean it was important because that was the official press release that they Sony put out today. But they admitted there, right? And this is what I talked about, like the competitive first FPS PvP space is so crowded these days compared to whenever the studio was found. This studio was formed specifically for this game, right? And that was Sony of like what 5, 6, 7 years ago, whatever it was.
Was it 7 or 8?
Something like that.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. Where it's just like, you know, the timetable from going, oh shit, that game is a breakout hit. We need one of those. To okay, let's develop that. And once we put it out, like first of all, it might not even be popular anymore. And then second of all, even if it is, like, how are you stealing away the players from that enfranchised series now, right? Like, because who are you pulling off of Overwatch to play an Overwatch Junior game, right? Like, it's just I don't know. I do not know. So that's
the problem with it.
Yeah, and it's obviously the other part that I wanted you to read that for was because they admitted they spent some time considering all their options, right? Because a lot of people were like, oh, well, maybe they'll just relaunch it, 2.0, free to play, whatever. And it's just like, I just think it was just too bad. Like, it was unsalvageable, right? Because there are just some games where it's like the word of mouth and the buzz is just so poisoned that you just got to cut your losses, right?
Was this the fastest death of a video game that was released?
Oh, 100%. This is one of the biggest failures in the industry ever.
You gotta wonder how it got released. Like, what was the thought? Like, they would be able to pull it off, I guess?
I think up until the point that it came out and the betas and all that stuff, they thought they had something special on their hands. Like, oh, and then plus they had success with some of their other stuff that came out with, like, Helldivers. And it's like, Helldivers is doing so great. Like, we can ride the success of that and the co-op aspect and the online services. And it's going to be on PC and it's going to be on PlayStation. And I were blinded by that.
I do feel the Helldivers 2 success kind of blinded them. Where like, because the same thing is like we were all not interested in Helldivers 2 because it was like anytime they showed it off at a state of play or whatever, we're like, okay, whatever. Like, marketing seems so weird, but it wasn't until players got the hands on the game that like, holy shit, this is awesome, right? And that's when natural word of mouth took over. Like all the Twitch streamers and stuff like that made that game the success it was, right? And so I think there's probably a part of them that was like, we just got to get this in the hands of players, and that'll do the rest, right? And that could very well be the case, because I've never played the game, and I never will, obviously, because it's taken offline. But like when you make a product that is so unappealing where people aren't even willing to give it a try, like you just lost all hope, right? You just lost all hope. You know,
I mean, the gameplay could have been fantastic.
It could have been just best in class, but like every other part of that package is just so unappealing. Like, you know, it's unfortunate in just today's market, right? And again, you're not just competing with Overwatch anymore. You're competing with Overwatch. You're competing with Call of Duty, Apex Legends, Fortnite. List goes on and on and on and on. Yeah, and the Marvel one coming out, which I have way more faith in, because it's free to play and barrier to entry. Like, that's the thing is, if you want to get your game in the hands of players and be like, hey, look, once you play our game, it will speak volumes, and we think you'll stick around. You cannot charge $40-$50 right off the bat without it being lightning in a bottle like Helldivers 2 was. Like, you just can't. Yeah. Or your Call of Duty, you know, your established franchise game.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that was from the book. That was a big gamble for Blizzard, for Overwatch.
Yeah.
You know, that was to charge for the game that's a service game, you know, that could be free to play, essentially. With, you know, with loot boxes or loot crates or whatever they call them back then.
Yeah.
I remember that. So that's the idea. It's a gamble to put a price tag on something that, like, Fortnite is free to play, you know, stuff like that. There's just so many competitive games out there that people are playing that like you said, like that's Warzone, yeah. Like, who you prying away with this game? That's it. Like, who you grab, like you said earlier. That's it. That was it.
It's like, hey, you play Overwatch, you don't have to pay anything for it other than whatever microtransaction shit you want to buy. Try Concord. Okay, is it free? No, you got to pay $40. I can buy 2 skins with that money. Like that's what people are gonna say. Like, sorry, like it sucks. I understand how bad that sounds, but that is the reality of the situation. People just be like, I can buy 2 skins with that, like of characters I like. You know, it's like, and yeah, it's just
And
sad.
all my friends are playing, and we've built up our
Right.
profile. It's like that. You start. It's like with the Apple and the Androids. You know, you're in this ecosystem now. It's like I can't break out of it because I have all my stuff. I have all my skins. I have all my rewards and my stats and my profile. It's like, why am I gonna try to now start from scratch and have to pay for it? And this game looks terrible, and like all the skins look ridiculously dumb.
Right.
Just generic. Just
And
generic.
Churro did chime in on the chat, so thank you. A lot of reliance on the hope it hits mainstream. Helldivers was a unique enough, and I guess I'll put experience word in your mouth. But yeah, and that's the thing is like at least Helldivers was a PvE situation where that is unique in the market, right? And Overwatch 2 was supposed to be entirely centered around PvE, and they never delivered upon that promise. So for Helldivers 2 to be like, yeah, actually we're a PvE game, which, because like, you know, again, it's like that blue ocean strategy that Nintendo employed with the Wii and DS, where it's like everybody's fighting over that, you know, PvP angle of first person shooter. We're going to go the other way. We're going to look at PvE, like co-op PvE, which again, the top series, which I would say Halo was the top PvE FPS, they shied away from that. So,
yeah,
like they filled that niche that was suddenly there, which was kind of ingenious, and I don't think even they would admit
and
that.
It is bite sized too, which is I think
in and out.
Unfortunately, like people's attention spans these days is not as it was 10 years ago or whatever, 5 years ago. Even it's like everybody just wants some quick in and out. Like I'm that way too. Like I like be able to just like play quick stuff and then get done and then come back to it later. And so that gave you that. It's like, oh, I feel like I accomplished something within 15 to 20 minutes with my friends, and then we can just go jump back in again and if we wanted to.
Yeah.
So
like if you only get like 1 hour,
Fire was fantastic.
Yeah, and if you only get like 1 hour to play a game, like you can get like probably 3 or 4 missions on Helldivers, which is a lot, you know. So
that's the thing. I mean, just look at my weekend when I was so busy. I didn't get a lot of hours available for Outlaws, and I got stuck in a spot. So it's like that just killed my game time. You know what I mean? Like you guys, like a 15-minute game is just way better for that. So when you have limited time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. So, I mean, it's sad that people are losing their jobs for it, but it's also not a great game too. It's a bad product. It was a big debacle, big botch.
No, and like I said, I think I posted a tweet, or maybe I didn't, but somebody was estimating that the game upfront cost was $200 million, which is just the budget for the title, which doesn't include the creation of the studio, because again, this studio was created from the ground up. Like they've never released a game before this. The marketing budget and whatever miscellaneous stuff over the 6-7 year cycle. So, I mean, I could easily see this being $300 to $400 million when you consider all those things, in totality, right? And Sony just burned that money. They just literally took almost $500 million and just lit it on fire.
Yep.
For something they will never get. Like, it's not like they can reuse these assets anywhere, right? They say we're going to learn lessons. That's an expensive ass fucking lesson to learn, my dudes. Like, and it's sad to me because, you take a look at Astrobot, right? Which is getting rave reviews, 94, I think, Metacritic or something like that. Topping the charts, top 3 this past month. And that's a budget title. And, there's no way this costs more than $100 million, I would estimate, because I think it had a 3-year dev cycle by a small team. And it's just like, man, if only Sony had taken that $500 million, they could have made Astrobot, they could have made Gravity Rush 3, they could have made, Frontier War, Freedom Wars, whatever the fuck it's called, the Monster Hunter clone. Like all this other smaller, AA stuff. And it's like, nope, they were chasing that dragon of live service games, which is just...
That was it. Yep.
It's sad. And we'll see.
Most of the time.
We'll see.
Most of the time.
Yeah, we'll see. I am curious if this makes Sony gun shy about future prospects.
What lessons are they learning? Like, right? So, like, are they learning lessons from Astrobot, and are they learning lessons from Concord? Like, which lessons are they really?
I think the entire industry is learning the lesson about insane budgets for games.
The same lesson is, less live servers, more quality single player games.
No, it's just even then, like the industry itself is learning about wasting, like overspending on certain, like
Yeah.
just over investing in games in general. In general, just over investing in games.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
you can't put $300 million in a game and expect to make money. You just can't do it.
right. So I mean, the thing is, I'm hoping, and this is just personal speculation here, but like between, if we're thinking about like scales, right? On one hand, you have Helldivers 2, massive success, right? Which is grand slam, out of the park, whatever analogy you want to make. On the other hand, you have Concord, which is one of the biggest financial disasters of all time in the gaming industry. Probably individual game release, period, right? Maybe on par with Anthem. I don't know. But then you have Naughty Dog, who they flat out admitted, right? They had to cancel Factions or whatever the sequel was supposed to be called. With like, guys, we don't want to do this because if we do, right, we will become a studio that only can do that, right? We won't be able to work on single player projects anymore.
Then they have to support it. They're gonna have to keep maintaining it. Yeah,
exactly. Right, so you have that. You have the Destiny 2, and I would say mixed, or like whatever you want to call where it ended, right? Where I don't think the player base was happy. I don't think people showed up as much as they wanted to. I believe they talked about the forecast being lower than they had obviously wanted.
There were spikes and everything, but it was definitely going high, but then came right back down.
Right, and then we had Bungie layoffs, right? So I'm hoping. And then plus, on top of the Bungie layoffs, through Destiny 2, we're hearing that Marathon is in some, trouble. Like, right? Like, even internally, people are questioning how good this game is going to be next year when it hopefully comes out. So I'm hoping all those on the other side of the scale is telling Sony, like, hey, maybe you should reassess your live service game thing.
Maybe
So Sony actually did close another smaller studio too that got tied up in this news that was supposed to develop a mobile title. Is it in that tweet, Jim? Or that
I probably closed the tweet.
It was like Neon or
let's see, where's the shuttering down? Here it is. It's not in there. Not in the one I linked from Schreier.
Well, it's another small studio that they were doing for their mobile efforts.
There was two of them, I think, that came out.
But Concord was
obviously was.
Yeah, Concord is the big one. So I'm just, personally, I'm hoping that this wakes up Sony executives and is like, wow, we fucking lost a lot of money. Yeah, Koi. There you go.
It was Neon Koi.
Neon Koi. There you go. I knew it was Neon something. But yeah, I'm really hoping that this makes them wake up, smell the coffee, and be like,
Well, that's the thing. It's like they don't really learn their lessons too much until the hits their wallets, and so it's like, well,
yeah,
this is
a big lesson, though. That's a huge.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
yeah,
a lot of times people don't realize it until something like this. So, yeah, hopefully we can turn them around.
Yeah, and obviously
more quality.
Right, and then obviously I just want to say, I think I speak for all of us when I say, like, we feel bad for the studio employees, right? Because, despite, and the thing is, like, we could point fingers at any particular part of the game that made it an unappealing product, but, the people that worked on the game, wanted to make the best game of their ability. And again, it could just come down to oversaturated market, could come down to just the character design. Like, if the characters were appealing, like, who knows, maybe we wouldn't even talk about this, and Concord would be, like, the number one, live service game right now. But, I think it's like 200-ish people are just with, being laid off. And like, every time we talk about like there's a good chunk of those people that are just going to leave the industry altogether. They're just going to be like, what?
They'll be burnt out.
I just put 6-7 years of my life into this game, probably the last year or two crunching on making sure that this game hit these things. And my reward was getting laid off, right? Like, and again, that's the worst end of expectations. Even Insomniac, who fucking did back-to-back hits with Spider-Man 1 and 2, with Miles Morales in between, they were forced to have layoffs by Sony. So, like, even success doesn't guarantee your own safety in this industry anymore. So, like, why the fuck are you going to stick around? So it's just sad, because, like, the gaming market, Microsoft, we said at least 600 from Xbox Studios, plus whatever Blizzard people specifically, after the acquisition. It's industry's not in good shape right now. We'll see.
No. All right. Ending on some good news. Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition surprisingly announced for release today,
Yeah.
March 20th. not releasing today, but coming
No,
March
no,
20th,
yeah.
2025.
So
Yeah.
the reason I laugh is just because. So first of all, the Nintendo fan base online has been itching at like any bit of hint of Switch 2 announcement, because we are past the anniversary date of when the Switch 1 was announced, because a lot of people were hoping on that, like, oh, of course they're going to announce it on the anniversary of the Switch 1 reveal, which is I think like 2 weeks ago or something like that. So that came and gone. And then the Alarmo thing happened, and Nintendo had to be like, this is not Switch related at all. And then they did the Nintendo Museum, and they had to once again say, this is not related to the successor Switch system. Temper your expectations for this direct. Just the random Nintendo account today just tweeting out, hey, by the way, we're coming out with a port of Xenoblade Chronicles next year, guys. Be excited. This is like, it's so funny to me that like Nintendo has just like nailed their specific demographics to like, they don't need like, they didn't even need to put this in Nintendo Direct, 'cause they could have, in years prior.
Surprising they didn't. I'm surprised they didn't.
They absolutely could have. And they're just like, no, actually, we can just tweet about it. Like, that's how we're announcing this game. It's a tweet. Go ahead. Go nuts.
Well, like you said, it drums up less. What the hell? Why did they announce this?
Yes. No. I agree. 100%. That is the way to do it, because people are just going to get themselves in a tizzy thanks to just online social media presence and expectations.
I mean, they could announce the Switch 2.
No, and I still am expecting them to talk about it. Before the end of the year. I just feel like with their upcoming investor call, they really want to have some good news, because again, like we just talked about, sales are down, right, which is not unexpected for a system that's almost on its 8th year anniversary. And a game like this like doesn't need to be highlighted in a Switch 2 direct.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, cool, an old game, right? Like, that's not gonna have the same buzz and effect as like
Remaster.
New 3D Mario or new 3D Zelda or whatever, Metroid Prime 4 and stuff like that. So that was the right way to do it. But it makes me personally happy, because this means the entire series is now playable on Switch, which is like super awesome, because you can't say that about many game series at all, where it's like, like Final Fantasy, you got to own like at least 3 systems to play all the games now. So
all right, cool. I think that's going to wrap up this episode of the Gamecast, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, we're live on Twitch Tuesday nights starting at 8 o'clock for the movie cast, the Gamecast. So you can watch us on Twitch here. If you don't get on Tuesday nights, though, you can go and see us on YouTube always. So all of our new content usually gets posted there the following day, our video. So you go over there and the following day, see these recordings, and like I said, all of the old content's on there. So feel free to subscribe to both, that way you get notified when we post or when we go live. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you next week. We are out.